Hey, Tugsdale, Luke here, and welcome back to episode 3 of E92 Repair. And as you can see, right in front of me here, I have a new roof for the car. So I picked this up yesterday from Oldham, which is a town that's about 50 minutes away from me. So about a 2.5 hour round trip by the time I put this into the van and got it all back and everything. So here it is, and at least it feels really good now to have the main components that needs to go back on the car. Now this roof cost me £200 and the fuel was 20 to stick in the van, which I borrowed from a friend, and I don't think 200 was that bad of a price, all things considering. See, everyone else was asking about 400, 450 pounds maybe for a roof, and I thought that was quite ridiculous because, let's be honest, the roof is the one part of the car that always gets crushed when a car's getting broken up. I mean, ask yourself, how often have you bought a roof for your own car compared to maybe buying a wing, a door, a bumper or something like that? They're just non-demand. Even the guy who I actually bought the roof off thought it was a bit of a strange request, and I said, can I have the roof? Looking back at the original roof that was on the car, there was about 90 spot welds going along it, so all along the back, well, there's the front, down the sides. There's not as much at the sides, but there's about twice the concentration on the front and the back. That takes a lot of time, and one thing I don't want to do really is start damaging this lip that goes along the front. This is meant to bond to the structure that goes across as a horizontal structure. So what I want to do is remove this panel, and it will involve drilling out a few spot welds, but not much of them. And I'm going to try and take this entire panel off with the roof attached on the new car. So all these spot welds going down the front will still be attached to the roof. They don't get touched at all. So this seal at the front behind the glass should be, well, perfect. It should be factory fresh, and then any welding that gets done is going to be done underneath inside the car where it's going to stay dry, and it's just specifically going to be in this area here. So I feel like that's probably the most sensible way of separating the roof and sticking a new one on. And same thing is going to go for the rear brace as well. So remove this one and stick the other one on with the roof attached. Then down the sides of the car, there's probably better gluing down the side, which is what lots of body shops do. Just have to make sure it's all clean, it's a good quality adhesive, etc., and make sure the job's done properly. So welded the front and back, glued on the sides, and I think that should give a pretty good repair overall. First thing we need to do is go down both channels and remove the spot welds on them sides. So I'm going to be using my punch, and again I want to say a big thank you to Machine Mart and Clark Tools for providing some of the equipment for this video, including the drill bits, punch sets, and all this good stuff here. So thank you very much, you've really made this video very possible, so I am very, very grateful for your help in this. Okay, so we're going to find the spot welds, centre punch them, and then go over a 2mm drill bit, which will just allow the spot weld cutter to basically seat itself in the middle of the spot weld and not go walkies, because it does like to do that. This should be a bit easier than last time because of the height I'm working at. It's a nice height where the car's quite high in comparison to this. So I feel like I can get much better grip of the drill and just cut stuff out easier. What I'm aiming towards here is to separate this from that. So you've got one big structure going across, but it's spot welded with 6 spot welds here, so I want to kind of lift this up out of the way, which you can see, and you can see underneath here that it's not joined, so this bit now is separate from the rest of the roof. So that's all quite important for me, because if you look at this part of the roof here, it is all very, very straight. There's no damage to it, all the spot welds are intact, and essentially this is going to sit very flush with the glass when it goes over it then, because I don't want this to be all rippled and going back and forth, and then what's going to happen is the glass is going to sit on top of it and water can seep in. Okay, slight problem. So it's hard to try and get this off. I'm having trouble, and I don't want to use any extreme measures, of course, because I'm going to damage this. So instead, what I've found, or I've looked at, is there's only 3 spot welds on each side holding this middle bit in, so it's easier to take this off and deal with that once it's off the car. Right, now it's just a case of separating this panel from the car, because obviously we still have the one attached to the roof, which is much less bent. So just a few holes, pilot holes there, and again, just like before, use a spot weld cutter and get these out. So we're done gone. Our panel will just lift out. There we go. It took about less than 10 minutes to drill that out, and the new one will just line up onto there, and it should all be lovely and crisp in line because it's been untouched, as opposed to, as you can see, the difference between those two panels of what they're like, and that's going to be much more watertight. See, it's not too bad on the side of the car if you're on the roof, on the side of the roof, because if there's a slight leak or something, or wind noise coming in, I can take the rain gutters up and put some more sealant or silicone on there to patch that up. But when it's behind the windscreen or the rear glass, it's like you're stuck before you got there without taking the whole windscreen out again. So that's why I want to make sure that this is as secure as possible. So this is where we are with the car, and you know what? It feels so good to see a roof on it. It's just like, I can feel that the car's solid, even though it's not attached and it's still just placed on top. To actually see the front of the car not crushed and it's a nice straight line, it's just an amazing feeling to have, considering that the windscreen was on the dashboard before and the roof was down here. So yeah, I'm excited now that this car is going to be finished off and completed. And you know what, to be fair, it could have gone a lot worse than it did, considering the amount of mess I've made doing it. Now, this roof can't just go straight on the car at the moment, because there's stuff that needs to be done before we do that. Firstly, although it's not vital for finishing the car off, this interior really needs a detail, and it's better doing it with no roof and no glass on, because if I get it wet and all that, it can just dry off much quicker. It's easier to take the seats out and all that stuff and move around. So I'm going to do that before the roof goes on. There's still lots of glass and metal fragments, and it's got wet when it was outside and all that kind of stuff, so just needs a good get into, and let's use this opportunity to make the interior better than it was than before we started off with any damage on the car at all. Secondly, what's more important really is making sure that there's no bare metal exposed on this roof, because there is quite a bit of bare metal, and not just on the roof, on the car's pillars as well. Don't forget to get this old roof off. It's had to like kind of chisel and pry, and that's obviously scratched the paintwork pretty badly underneath where the roof is. Now that's going to be exposed metal, and what's going to happen with that? Well, in a couple of years time that's going to form rust spots, and in about 5 years time it's probably going to be pretty bad rust. And I don't want the roof to be the reason why this car's life's cut short. I want the roof to last for the lifetime of the car. So I'm going to take this roof back off. I'm going to spray underneath it. I'm also going to spray along the top, just where the rain gutters are. And then probably with the brush, I'm going to just paint all the channels and everything, and make sure there's no metal exposed there. Make sure that that is as good as can be. But I'll probably do that when the interior is out of the car, of course, so to minimise the risk of getting paint on the interior, which would be pretty bad, all things considered. So, when's the next video going to be released? I ain't got a clue. You know, it's no point in me trying to fool you at the moment, saying it's going to be next week or the week after or scheduled release, because that does not exist on Talkstay at the moment. Maybe one day, who knows. So if you want to know when the next video is released, I suggest hitting that subscribe button and bell notification icon, and you'll get that ping in the notifications on YouTube when I release the next video on this car. So you know what to do. Like this video, give a thumbs up, dislikes if you don't, subs if you loved it. So as always, thank you for watching, see you soon, and take care.